So, as Mr. Occupational Health and Safety Man comes around, every time someone cuts themselves or hurts themselves, a new tool gets banned. So for a while, sites were regulated to these retractable blades, as opposed to the old flip out ones. People kept hurting themselves with it. So I ended up getting these. These are self-retracting blades. So essentially, when you're cutting something, when you release the pressure, it goes away. You don't cut your leg. That's the up and down. So the days of carrying around a trusty box cutter that you can flip out in your pocket are gone. You get caught with them, it's a big hassle. You have to explain yourself like you're a kid. It's just not worth time. So for certain things, you end up with scissors. Scissors or shears, whatever you want to call them, it's the same thing. Only problem with these is they don't last 2 minutes, and in an industrial world, they just don't cut it. Literally don't cut it. Now slowly but surely, across all the different sites I went to, I started seeing more and more and more Black Panthers. These Black Panthers, they've taken over things like Stanley. For if you say someone throw me Stanley knife, they know damn well what knife you mean, whether it's made by Stanley or not. In Australia at least, these Black Panthers have taken over that for electrician shears. Someone goes, you got your Panthers on us, can you throw us your Black Panthers? Anything like that, you know they're looking for these. So these were the industry standard. I got these. These obviously are made by Engineer, not Vanply, but they're the exact same thing as we've been through before. They make their version, and then lo and behold, Knipex came out with theirs. First thing off, these, they don't stand a chance in this game. They're overpriced, a couple benefits, but just, they're really not there. These two are the two to compete with. 80% of people I've ever worked with are carrying the Panthers. Most people have never seen the Knipex, and most people have definitely not seen the Engineer / Vampire Tools ones. The Black Panthers are the standard, and they're the standard for a reason. Everybody has them, everybody swears by them, what they can do, their usability, their good value, and they hold up test of time. People have been running these for years now and just had no problems cutting stainless steel ties, cutting bits of cable, cutting whatever they need to cut. Good for heat shrink, good for everything. No complaints from anyone ever. These are the industry standard setting shears. Enter the Knipex. Knipex I bought pretty much expecting to be overpriced Panthers. What I found out along the way was quite interesting, but they are definitely going up against the Panthers. It's not how do the Panthers compare to the Knipex. This is one thing the Panthers hold supreme on, and the Knipex are having a go at challenging them in the market. One of the first differences between the Panthers and the Knipex that you'll notice is the Knipex has this cable cutting groove, which is actually a whole lot more handy than the Panthers. So first off, we have to ask ourselves, what's sharper? None of these have any trouble getting through a cable of small size. Except for the Engineers. They don't like it. Unless you're right up high on the pivot point, they're not getting through. Definitely useless in the far. Somewhere around the mid, you just have to put a lot of strength in. So already these are out because you're losing usability. In the amount of cable you can cut at once, you can get through it, you put it in, not bad. Whereas the Panthers, although I'm impressed, they get through it, no problems when it's flat out, but if it's bunched up, it becomes a little bit harder. In overall cutting capacity, because of the grooves and how close the pivot point is and how far your jaws can open, the Knipex do slightly take out the cake over the Panthers, but that difference is negligible. It's a bee's dick. It really wouldn't affect your purchase. So this is stainless steel cable tie. No problems at all. No issues. And this is at the furthest reach I'm going for as well. And the Engineers, they struggle at the far. They get through it, but These, I'm just going to leave these out of the race because I don't recommend them at all. I can't honestly recommend them. If you're buying them, you might as well buy these because you're getting the same thing out of them. They just look more industrial when they try and add some price to them. Now, apart from the actual cutting power, one thing the Knipex jaws do have over the Panthers is their ability to strip with. So, just got some earth cable here. It's easy enough to ring and strip cable with them. So, that's one thing I never expected these to be good for. So, before I bought these, and I've been carrying these around, both of these in my tool bag for about almost 6 months now. I expected these just be for little things like nipping cable tie-ins, cutting heat shrink, cutting electrical tape, you know, just scissor type motions. I didn't actually expect them to take such a strong role as they have. So I use these for, you know, the odd cable taking the insulation off the outsides, cutting through anything that and smaller. I just chop these instead of going and get my actual cocky beak saw. These work 10 times better than side cutters on stainless steel ties, and you can get a pretty flush result like you would with the flush cutter because they're quite versatile in the angle that you use them. So these definitely have a place. It's just I didn't know they had a place until, you know, these things started getting banned. So similar to how Engineer rebadges into Vampire tools, the Knipex appear to actually be rebadged Fulmazzi, which is an Italian brand tool. I don't have any problems with rebranding and rebadging as a whole. I know a lot of Knipex stuff, like their ply wrenches and their Cobras, gets rebadged and sold as the premium. So the Panthers handles, they're comfortable in your hand, and they've got this spring which has never got in the way or annoyed me to easily reopen them, and you've got a locking to close it. For me personally, I'm not a big locker. That's one of the things that I don't have a lot of discipline with. So after times, these go back into my bag like that, and when I pull them out, they come like that. That holds them in the pocket too. I'm not normally a big fan of the spring-loaded tools. I like them just to be, you know, use your fingers or whatever. But that's never been a problem, and I honestly never have had a problem with them being spring-loaded. Knipex, obviously, they look more like your traditional scissor type handles. You know, you're in and out and your thing. This is fine. If you're doing electrical work, you're used to using normal handles on pliers and stuff every day of the week, so either or are perfectly acceptable. But they are different, but fine. Different, but same. The Panthers blades do come in quite a few different options. You can get these with, these are more of a snub nose. You can get them pointy, you can get them longer. There's a lot more variation to these. The only variations to these is, since I purchased them, is a slightly different handle color variant, but ergonomically and functionally it looks the same. So overall, for the pros and cons, with the blades, the actual cutting power of the blades, Knipex takes this by a bee stick and it barely even matters. It's so small, but there is that bonus. Just having that form factor and shape just gives you that little bit of an edge. If Black Panthers pull out a model with that, then they'll be identical and exactly the same. But you can cut most things like this. It's just more with the grooves. You're better off with the Knipex for that one specific thing. Now, apart from cutting, stripping. You can get away with a lot of stripping activities with this. As you see with the bigger sheaves, with the smaller sheaves, it gets quite handy. This is something I've actually got quite used to doing and fast, and coming to realise I rely on these quite a lot now for the odd jobs you might do. Whereas if I'm doing a lot, I've got more specialty tools for each of those actions and items. But if I'm just doing a little or quick one or something like that, I find myself reaching for these a whole lot more than anything else. For comfort, equal marks, same story. They're both just as good as each other. Durability, they're both seeing the same amount of like hard yakka now. Like the ones that haven't seen anything are these Engineers, but as I said, they're dead to me pretty much. But I have been putting them through the Yakka, and I tell you, they're holding up. They're perfect. These are, as I said, industry standard, tried and tested. I've never had a complaint about anyone except they've been stolen. Like, oh, someone stole me Panthers, like, or something like that. No one's ever said, oh, these are shit, or they've gone blunt, or these ones are a dodgy pair. Nothing but perfect reviews about these. Or so the price, these are coming at a massive discount. And to be honest, there's no reason you wouldn't buy the Panthers. It really is a toss of the coin and a personal preference. These cost a little bit more, but you get that tiny little bit more of them. But in reality, you've got a whole tool bag full of tools. If you're doing stripping and stuff, you've got a tool for stripping. If you're cutting cable, you've got a tool for cutting cable. No one out there should be looking at these, any of these, for a replacement for their whole toolkit. End of the day, you cannot beat the trusty Panthers. Tried, tested, true, value for money, quality for money. Money well spent. Spend it once, have it forever, no problem tool. Knipex, originally thought was just gonna be Knipex tax markup on top of just a regular tool that doesn't need to be marked up. Pleasantly surprised. The bonus feature of the cutting, the stripping, all that on top of its regular function. This is one of my most reached for tools now. One of my most carried around where I'm not allowed to carry a regular knife. I've got these on me. I'd say if you just want some electrician shears that will never let you down, look for these. If you want to go to the next level, spend the extra couple bucks on these. But these are the standard. These are built off of the standard.